Today on Hoopty Doodle, we're making a headlight bracket for the motorcycle with 1/4-inch rod and torches. So here's my brand new headlight bucket off of Amazon or eBay. It's a cheap version of a headlight bucket, and it's pretty much the universal standard for random aftermarket headlight buckets. And it does come with some brackets, but I'm not going to use those brackets. It would be too pedestrian. Alright, so the challenge today is to figure out how to install this headlight bucket. So on the bike, on the triple trees up here, we've got a couple mounting points. There's a couple spots down here where these little rubber grommet things go into, which if you look at the old sort of headlight bracket thing up here, you've got these little rubber grommets on the bottom of it. Those go down into here. So obviously we're going to want to reuse those to some degree. And then you can see up here, there's two little mounting brackets up there. Those go in and lock in up in here. And then but this bar also goes back and screws in to the actual triple tree itself back here. And so we have options. This little thing here seems to be utilized to sort of organize wires to some degree. So we might want to keep that. That's a nice option that is already built in. So why not keep it like that? So we may want to just build off of this bracket and somehow incorporate down into this bracket down here on the very bottom. These little rubber grommets. And the rest of this stuff here, like this is where the turn signals were. We don't need those anymore. We do need turn signals up here somewhere. That's also got to be integrated into this thing. But I'm gonna be going for something much less conspicuous than that thing. Let's see what we can come up with here. All right, so now I'm just trying to mock some stuff up here. I've got the speedometer up there tied in with some wire, sort of approximately where I want it. And the headlight, I'm trying to figure out where I want that thing. So right there, if you can take a step back, it doesn't look bad there, I don't think. It has a little bit of a higher level to it, which might be appropriate for the scrambler look. I'm not sure, but it's kind of further out than what I really wanted. I was imagining it sort of sitting lower, right around in this range here. Something like this. Something in that range there. You know, probably as close in as I can get it. But yeah, something like that is kind of what I was imagining. So yeah, maybe something like that. I'm not sure about that either though. The headlight almost looks too small, which is kind of crazy. I don't think you can have a headlight that's too small. It's either that or this speedometer is too big. That's probably it. But anyways, that's the speedometer we're using for sure. There's that. There's also the possibility of moving the speedometer. Speedometer could, in theory, like live back here. You know, something like that. Which, does that improve the lines of the bike? I don't know, dude. Alright, I think this is about it. I think this is where it's at for this bike. And with the headlight position right about there. I think that lines up pretty good with everything if we look at it from different angles. You've got it up here where, yeah, the speedometer is pretty big, but it's not hugely disproportionate to the headlight. I think this could work. Alright, so what I want to do here is I've got the one rubber mounting point is right here, and we've got the other mounting point is right here. And so this isn't quite level here, it's something like that. And so what I want to do is I want to use some 1/4-inch rod, this stuff right here, and I want to bend this so that it has a smooth arc that comes up into here, and then another arc that comes back up into there. So that's my plan. I'm going to try and bend 2 different arcs, or maybe 2 of the same arc, and then see how they sort of match up, fit up into here, and then we'll go from there. Alright, and then what I happen to have laying around is this big old piece of pipe here, and if I line this up like this, I like the arc going like that, and if I use the same arc up here, I like that arc too. So I'm going to use this to bend my 1/4-inch rod around and shape it. So, to the torches! Alright, so take this guy, I'm going to put it in my vise here. Vise it down real good. Yeah! And then 1/4-inch rod, I'm going to weld part of this rod on right here, and then we're going to bend it around like that with the torch. Heat it up and bend it. So I'm using the torch to make the metal malleable, and then I'm trying to like pull it around this shape here. And when it doesn't quite work out, I am using the hammer to straighten it down and flatten it down onto the shape. I do find that it is basically somewhat helpful to bend it as best you can with the torch around the shape as far as you can go, or as far as you're going to go, and then come back with the hammer and sort of rework some of the spots that are not flattening down all the way. Alright, so now I've got two pieces here, two bends that are pretty much the exact same bend, so I'm happy with that. And those should go on the bike, the idea at the moment at least. So they go on the bike from that little rubber ground mounting point up to here, and then from there up to the other mounting point at the top here. And that is the general design, something like that. I need to make the little part that attaches to the bucket. All right, so the bolt down this bucket here is about 8mm thread, and I'm going to use a little slug. I've got a bunch of these. This is like 16mm round stock. I've got a bunch of these things. I'm going to use these, drill this out for 8mm on the inside here, and then we'll cut it in half or so, and we'll put that on there, and we can weld our bars to this. Alright, so here's my little slug thing here. Cut my hole through the center, and I also have faced up the sides here a little bit so they're a little bit rounded going over the edge. And now I need to basically find the center of this thing and cut it in half. Got some micrometers, we'll figure out what this thing is. It's about 22 millimeters, about 11 millimeters is my center. All right, I've got it marked. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try and cut this thing. And so when fitting these things up to the bike, it was difficult for me to come up with a solution to hold these things in place in a neat fashion. Everything was just sort of hanging in the air there, basically. And so the best way I could figure out to do this was just to hold it up there and weld it in place as I'm holding it. And then to do the bottom attachment point, I'm cutting off the portion of the old bracket that has the little rubber grommets on it. And then once I install that onto the bike, now I have an attachment point I can weld onto. And throughout this process, I was doing a lot of measuring and remeasuring and trying to get things in position, and then measuring again, making sure they're still in position. And then going back and forth and shortening the rod to the right length and then fitting it up to the bike. And this went on for hours. I used the level to make sure it was level in the front from one side of the headlight bucket to the other. Alright, so after a lot of fussing, hours of fussing with this thing, trying to get it in there, I didn't have a good way of neatly putting this thing together, so it was a lot of just trial and error, basically. It's not perfect, but it's about as good as I can get it at this point in time. Definitely wasn't as quick as I would have liked, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Right now it's just sort of tacked in there, kind of mocked up. I'm gonna let it sit overnight, come back out, measure everything up again, and if I'm still happy with it, we will fully weld it in. I had to get everything as straight as I could this way because I don't have anything built into here to adjust the headlight that way. So I need to make sure it's straight down the road, and then making sure that it's level up here But then the only adjustment I'll have is this right here. But I do like the way it looks, and it is nice and strong for a headlight. It should be nice and strong. So that's me headlight bracket thus far, and I do like the aesthetics of the design. I do wish it was a little bit more professional in the way it went together and everything. I wish it was a little bit more perfect, but I'm not professional, so I have to be happy with a little bit of imperfection every once in a while. And I still need to find a place to put the turn signal indicators and the speedometer. So I pretty much have an idea of where the speedometer is going to go, but the indicators, they could go anywhere at this point. I'm not really sure. So those will be future videos, something to look forward to. So thanks for watching this video. Keep on wrenching on your own projects. We'll see you next time.